OFPG Voices is brought to you by the following sponsors. Calliope Games, publisher of Roll For It, 𝗬𝗎, and Enchanted Plumes. They publish tabletop games for players of all ages and skill levels. Their games are crafted to inspire laughter and fun. Board&Dice. Board&Dice designs and publishes family and strategy board games. Two of their most recent releases, Origins First Builders and Mandala Stones. They recently announced their Ally program, primarily aimed at welcoming and supporting people of color and the LGBTQ+ community in the hobby. Rose Gauntlet Entertainment, publisher of the upcoming game Keystone North America, available on pre-order. Rose Gauntlet Entertainment believes that games are for everyone and that their greatest purpose is to bring people together. Bezier Games, publisher of Maglev Metro. Being released this summer, Cat in the Box. It is sure to be the trick-taking game of the year. Available for pre-order now at BezierGames.com. And Sink or Swim. It's a co-op game that even the most non-co-op gamers enjoy, as you rally your team to perform at their best. Late pledges still available. Game Pathways, a nonprofit founded by game professionals with the shared goal of a more diverse and inclusive industry. Game Pathways is building career resources and learning materials for underrepresented students, supported with scholarships and an in-person learning event this fall at UCLA. A number of companies have already pledged their support to Game Pathways. And whether you are an individual or a publisher, there are a lot of ways you can help. Learn more at gamepathways.org. Renegade Games, publisher of Power Rangers, Heroes of the Grid, and a family favorite, Clank, a deck-building adventure. And after being sold out many times over the past 2 years, finally back in stock, The Search for Planet X. To see an entire catalog, visit renegadegames.com. Hi everybody, I'm Starla.
I'm Mick.
And we are
Our Fan Plays Games. Voices, yeah! Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode.
Yeah, episode 12, baby. 12. We climbing.
We're going.
Climbing.
We are going.
We are climbing, yeah.
And as always, we've got some great stuff for you.
Yes, we do. A whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
So we're going to start this episode off
What
with
we got?
Panda Talks.
Yes, she is interviewing. She's interviewing folks and doing some stuff.
Yeah, so we have Amanda Panda.
Yes.
And she's going to talk with Ambie from Board Game Blitz.
Love Ambie.
Yeah.
She's on Dice Tower too. She's on Dice Tower. Yes.
And then coming up, we're going to have a How to Play with Aaron from GameEnthus.
Yes, that's the man.
He's going to reflect on Juneteenth.
Yes.
And show us how to play a game called Push.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
And then after that, we've got Designer's Corner with Fertessa Allyse.
Yes.
And she's going to give us 10 tips on how to make a prototype.
She keeps doing it.
Yes, she does.
She's going to tell you how to put a game together,
That's
y'all.
right.
Yes.
And last but not least, we have Talking Games with Maggie, Megan, and Chris from We're Playing Games.
Yes.
And they're celebrating Pride Month, and they're going to showcase some games from LGBTQ designers.
Yes.
And they're also going to have a Pride Month marathon on Twitch on June 25th.
And they're giving prizes away, and we are going to give a prize away right along with it, baby. We're right in the mix. Yes. So we're going to be there, and we want everybody to be there. Yes.
So buckle up, everybody.
Yes.
Get comfortable.
Yes.
And stay tuned to everything we have in store.
But first, let's get the good word from Starla from Good Humans.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Good Humans. This week, I want to focus on honoring others. To honor someone and their experiences is to show respect for them, their culture, and their history. This month, we are honoring and celebrating fathers for Father's Day, celebrating Pride Month, and we're also celebrating and remembering Juneteenth. Now, you don't have to be part of the LGBTQ community, a father, or an African American to celebrate and honor someone for who they are and what they've gone through, their history and their culture. You don't have to be that. So to honor someone is to show importance to all humans, to accept that their lives and their experiences are as important and valid as yours. Always know that it takes nothing away from you. And I'm going to say that again. It takes nothing away from you and your history and your culture or experience to give honor to someone else. So as we always say here at OFPG Voices, our goal is to make this world a better place, one board gamer at a time. And to do that, let's learn to honor others.
Welcome everyone for a new episode of Panda Talks with my good friend and guest, Ambi Rona.
Hi.
How are you doing, Ambie?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So for those of you who do not know, Ambie is part of Board Game Blitz, the podcast and YouTube channel and Twitch channel, and has her own Twitch show as well on her own channel, and does amazing things. But she also not only is a board gamer, podcaster, and reviewer, she is now... Wait, are you an author? This is a book that you've actually written yourself?
Yeah, well, I guess not quite yet because it's not published yet, but like, I think...
It's written?
Yes, it's written. So I'm an author, yeah. I'm a children's book author.
That is absolutely incredible. Can you show off the book?
Yeah, see, this is
It's pandas! It's pandas!
So yeah, I have twin toddlers at home, and I like playing board games with them, so I made this book for them, basically, but got it actually professionally illustrated by Rachel Kramer from 𝗕cie છીએ𝗿𝗋𝗋.
That's so cool! I love their comics so much.
Yeah, their comics are so good. But yeah, I was really excited that she agreed to do it, and she had time to do it. And then now I have this. Well, this is like a prototype copy. Like, these are really hard to print one off, so like it has extra pages and stuff, but like I was able to read it to them, and they're pointing out the games and stuff, and it's really cool.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. When's the Kickstarter starting?
The Kickstarter is starting... the Kickstarter is starting July 18th. That's what I'm planning for.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Awesome. So just a little background of you, Ambie. When did you start getting into board games?
Ooh, so I've been playing board games for most of my life, I think. Like, I played a lot of the mass market games with my family when I was a kid, but I also played Dungeons and Dragons with them, and like some of the more hobbyish mass market games like Hero Quest and Stratego and stuff, I guess. But then when I was in college, I played Dominion. So I think that's when I started playing more board games on my own outside of my family. And that was in 2008 or 9.
I was like, don't dox yourself. You're fine. Oh.
I don't remember when Dominion came out, but yeah. And then after college, when I started having more time and disposable money to spend on board games, like I started getting into more like buying games, and I played games with my boyfriend at the time, who was now my husband. And we both kind of got into the hobby together.
That's awesome. Wait, so did you get him into a hobby, or you just found each other through board games?
We actually found each other through the Rubik's Cube.
Oh yes!
Yeah, another nerdy activity. But we both like independently had played board games, so we both knew Dominion, and like he had Ticket to Ride, and like I had played some other games in college too. And then together we like played Arkham Horror and started like getting other games and researching more board games to get. So yeah, like we had both like played them before, but then together got more into the hobby.
So what kind of games do you and your partner like to play?
We play a lot of different types of games. So one thing that we're known for is 18xx games. They're heavy economic train, railroad themed games like stocks and railroad simulations. So both of us are super into that. But we also like we like cooperative games. We like party games. we like a lot of word party games. Like there's a lot of those coming out in the last few years.
Oh yeah.
Like after Codenames came out, a lot more came out, and we like a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also really like escape room games, so we put those together, and those are really good at 2-player. A lot of the escape room board game box sets.
And then you actually put together a lot of jigsaw puzzles on your stream as well, so you have a bunch of those. Like after you like put them together, do you like just keep them, like mix it back up and keep them, or do you pass them on? Like it's very interesting. You have such different ones that it's so cool to see that them on stream. Okay.
Yeah, some of them I keep. Like there's one up there. That one, like the couple of Disney ones I've kept and framed up, but most of them I just put them back, take it apart and put it back in the box, like pretty much right after I solve it, and then like pass it on to someone else.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. So how did you get together with Crystal Dax to start Board Game Blitz?
So we actually hadn't met each other in person. We met through Reddit.
Yeah.
So Crystal, Cassidy, and I. Cassidy was the third co-host of Board Game Blitz. She was a host for like 1 or 2 years, and then left to spend more time with her family. But we all like commented in a Reddit thread that was saying like there was a Reddit thread asking what's missing from Board Game Podcast, and then one of the comments was like, oh, there aren't any like hosted by women, and then we all commented in that thread like replying to each other like, oh, I'm a woman, I can do that. And then we just chatted on Reddit and then on Facebook, and then eventually it took us like 6 or 9 months or something to like eventually get started after, because we chatted a lot and then like planned it out, and then we're like, okay, let's finally record the podcast. Oh, and also Cassidy had a baby.
Oh yeah.
So we were waiting until after she had the baby and was ready.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So we didn't meet. Like I met Crystal once before recording, just because I was visiting Las Vegas with my friends, and so like I had lunch with her, but like mostly we hadn't met in person until a year into the podcast.
Oh wow, that's so cool. That is really awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
I do have a couple of friends I've met online, and like it took us a while to get together, and then now we're like, how did we not know each other for years? You know?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And you're planning on continuing like Board Game Blitz and the YouTube content that you do. I love your song parodies. Like, how did that start?
So that actually started, I used to make song parodies. I made some in high school for fun, and then in college I made a bunch for fun, and then after college I made a couple for, like, at each job I had, I made one about the job. But I was like, I was missing making song parodies and missing singing, so I just made one for Android Netrunner, because I was like, oh, I want to make one about like a board game, like, and I was really into Android Netrunner at the time, and that was back in 2014 or 2014, I think. So yeah, I made one, and then I posted it on YouTube so that I could listen to it. And then I think I posted it on Reddit too, or maybe the second one that I made. No, the first one I posted on Reddit, and then like someone said I should make another one, and then I made another one, and then like people started subscribing to my YouTube channel, so I'm like, oh gosh, I have to keep making these. So yeah, because I got like a couple of subscriptions of people subscribing, I made one like every 2 weeks for like 3 years.
Oh my god.
And then I ran out of ideas. But yeah, like at first it was just like no music video or anything, it was just the song. And then I started making music videos in like 2017 and started making them more regularly.
There's some really incredible music videos that you've done with a whole bunch of like content creators, and I'm like, man, I really want to get in on that and join in the chorus because I really can't sing, but you know, it's always a lot of fun. What was the one that you did? I think it was like 2 ago with the jail theme.
Oh, Cell Block Tango.
Yes!
Board Game Tango.
Yeah, Board Game Tango. That was absolutely incredible. That was really incredible. Are all of these like videos on the Board Game Blitz channel, or is it on your personal one?
No, my personal one is the song parody. So that actually started a couple years before Board Game Blitz, and yeah, I just kept that. My Ambi Rona YouTube channel, like all it has is board game song parodies. There's a couple that aren't board game song parodies, but like they're still song parodies. and I just like kept that only board game song parodies because I was worried that the people who subscribed only want board game song parodies.
Thank you so much, Ambie, for joining me for this episode of Our Family Plays Games Voices. It was so fun to talk to you about all the stuff you do in the board gaming community and your new children's book. What's it called again?
Board Game Day. It's a rhyming children's book.
That is very, very cute, and I definitely have to get a copy just for my Panda collection and get a copy for all my friends with kids, of a certain age. I mean, even if they're older, I'll probably get them a copy just for funsies.
They're teenage kids.
I know, it's like, you get a Panda book for a 1-year-old. Yay! But no, it's been so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time, and I hope you did too. So everyone, if you want to know when Ambie's streaming on her channel or on Board Game Blitz, or to listen to the podcast, or to check out their YouTube channels and the Kickstarter link, it should all be in the description below. So thank you again, Ambie, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey, I'm Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and during the summer, there's often many reasons for people to get together and eat good food, think about old times, play some games, etc., etc. And this year is the second year that people in the United States or anywhere in the world will have an opportunity to celebrate the emancipation of enslaved people within the United States. Several years after the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed, it took several years for people in Galveston, Texas, and other places to even be made aware that their freedom had been granted. It's interesting how regionalized the celebration of Juneteenth is. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and I've been celebrating Juneteenth and going to Juneteenth related events for as long as I can remember. And in many ways, you learn what you live. So I always thought that people, especially black folks all over the country, the US, knew what Juneteenth was and were just aware. I was very incorrect. Going to college, I realized that just because it was something that I was made aware of when I was much younger, did not mean that other people were also made aware. So it really depends on what part of the country you're in, what city you're in. All those are definitely factors. But now that it is a federally recognized holiday, more and more people will know. And that's a good thing. Juneteenth typically being celebrated on the 19th. So we're a couple days past it, but maybe you went to a cookout, maybe you went to a barbecue, maybe you went to a celebration, maybe you went to something that was related to it. A holiday like Juneteenth is definitely a good time to reflect on why you're celebrating it, and also a good time in general is to have some fun and enjoy some time with people that you care about. Large and significant changes like the emancipation of an entire group of people don't come easily. It comes with a lot of hard work and dedication, and it comes with a lot of selflessness. That being said, I thought it was somewhat inadvertently thematic to teach a game called Push. Push is a push your luck game, 2 to 6 players for ages 8 and up, from Ravensburger. In no way, shape, or form does Push actually address, directly or indirectly, the awful institution of enslavement, but the word came to mind, therefore the game came to mind. Let me show you how it plays. So these are the components in Push, these 4 things, not meeples in different colors, printed on cardstock, printed with love. So these are the components in Push. You're gonna have a deck of cards of varying colors. So there's 5 colors. There's yellow, there's green, there's blue. You're gonna have red and purple. There are 5 different colors. Numbers 1 through 6. I think there's 3 or 4 of each number. You are also going to have 2 special cards. You're gonna have this card with the die on it, the 5 colors, and then a black side. But if this card comes out while you're putting out cards, you just put it to the side, and that means is if and when collecting happens, it would go counterclockwise. So this just changes it from clockwise to counterclockwise. That's all it really means. So a typical turn will consist of a player putting cards out in up to 3 different stacks, if you will. The rule is you cannot have the same number or color represented in one stack. And the same goes for these. These will come out and also get placed separately. The the switch order card is one that just gets put to the side. It would not correspond to the rules of laying out cards. So I could not put this here because I already have a 1 here. I don't have a yellow, but the 1 is represented, so I have to put that there. This is just what is going on today? So, yeah. So, for this to happen on a turn, I would bust. Because I can't put this here because red's already here and one is already represented in these stacks. Let's say the player who was just going had benched up these cards, meaning these are cards that they either, had I not bust and decided to stop on my own, I could have picked one of these stacks. So these cards in front of me, my bench, is comprised of cards that I got by stopping organically because I wanted to and collecting stacks. Then I just sort them out by color. Or if another player was going and they either stopped and had other stacks for the other players to collect, or they busted and then the other players collected the cards, that's what ends up here. So let's say I had these cards out, but I busted because I couldn't place the 1 because red's already represented in addition to a 1, and then 1 is clearly already in these stacks. This would be my bench. These are the stacks. So if I bust, I would have to roll this die, and what that means is whatever color comes up, I would lose all of that color to my bench. So I had this red, so that will go away, and that's how it worked. So then at that point, because there's no switch card out, meaning it would reverse turn order, it would just go clockwise. So let's say I was player 1 and this was my turn, then I don't get anything because I busted. So then player 2 could pick the stack that they wanted. So let's say they're gonna take, let's say they took that stack there, and then player 3 could take the stack they wanted. They definitely don't want this. If they, let's say they had to pick this one, they would have to take this, and then they would have to roll the die and potentially get rid of something in their bench. They're not going to want to take that by choice. Also, if you roll the black side, the white star, that means all of your cards are safe. No color gets taken away. You're good to go.
Always bet on black.
So this player 3 would probably just take this 1. Okay, so one last rule. These purple cards are worth 13 points. I want to keep those. So instead of flipping out more cards on your turn, you can forego that to take an individual color of cards, set it to the side, called banking it, and they can't be taken away based on die rolls anymore. It's also worth me mentioning, noting, what have you, that the game comes to an end when the deck runs out of cards and the last stacks are taken to become part of the player's benches. And then all the cards that are in your bench, the bench, and the cards that you've banked, add up all those numbers, and whoever has the most points would win the game. Player 1 is going to be this Super Smash Bros. Ultimate pin, pre-order pin that I got from Best Buy. I've never opened it. I thought it was really worth anything, but it does have some heft to it. Player 2 is going to be this defunct but still functional Windows phone. That could pretty much be anything, but it is an old Windows phone. And last but certainly not least, the golden Wiimote that did come with a golden nunchuck for some dust on. I haven't played this in a while. That was actually a pre-order bonus for Skyward Sword for the Wii and has Wii Motion Plus built in. Lucky me. That is going to be player 3. Let's get in the frame here. Come on. So player 1 is going to be in the game, and just keep the die handy so you can use it if you wish. Player 1 is not going to continue as they have 3 green out already. Wow, how does this keep happening? Oof. Okay, what stack are they going to take? They are going to take, this player 1 stopped. They're not going to push their luck anymore. They're just going to take these. And since it's going in reverse order, player 3 is going to pick a stack first. And they're probably going to pick the 3 and the 5. And then player 2 is going to take that one. All right, and then this goes away, I guess. Discarded, what have you. It's now going to be player 2's turn. Player 2 is just going to stop right there. And player 2 is happy because they're going to end up giving the die card to both of their opponents. Doesn't matter what order they go in. This is active, this is discarded. So player one's going to get their spoils. And, well, I guess it's going to go to player 3 first. So player 3 is going to either pick a value of 7 for their bench or a value of 6. They're both going to have these cards, unfortunately. So, oops, this should go like that. So these are the benches that folks have. Bench it on up. Okay, so they both got these. So let's see, player 3. I suspect that player 3 probably would have rolled before player 2 went. Not really sure. All right, so they rolled purple. This is player 3 because they picked the stack first. So these are gone. Ouch. It's out of their bench. And now player 2 is going to roll because they have this card in front of them. And they also got purple. So that's out of there too. Ouch. And that is a couple of turns and how Push plays. So that was a couple turns of Push from Ravensburger. Push is sort of like life. Life is about balance. It's about moving forward tomorrow, but not forgetting what happened yesterday. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, be blessed.
Hello, my name is Fertessa Allyse, and today I'm giving you 10 tips on how to make your prototype. Last time we talked about making a found prototype. We rushed around the house, we found things from different games, and then we walked through gameplay. This time we are going to try and make a prototype from scratch. And so these are 10 tips that helped me when I started my game design journey, and I hope they help you as well. So, number 1, GameIcons.net. There are a lot of different websites that will give you access to free images that you can use in your game, but I love GameIcons.net because they provide a variety of game icons for you, all in the same color, though you can change what the colors are. And more importantly, they are all the same size, so you don't have to keep resizing different images to make them all work within the same game. And that makes it much more cohesive when you're putting it together. So GameIcons.net is my favorite source for game icons, free game icons. Number 2, when you're making your prototype, pay attention to the font. It can be very easy to go overboard whenever you have a theme and then to also want to drag in a thematic font. But thematic fonts are usually very difficult to read. And we want to make things as easy as possible for our playtesters, so there's not a barrier to getting people to play our games. So whenever you are thinking about fonts, try and look for sans serif fonts like Arial. Keep it very plain and minimal, and that will go a long way with getting people to come back and sit down in front of your game. Number 3, you do not have to go and print giant boards every time you make a prototype. I had this thing where I would go to the print shop and I would print a whole poster size board. I would also just buy poster board and then draw my board, which those are fine. But there are image splitting programs out there which will take that large image of your board and break it down into multiple quadrants that can print on 8.5 by 11 paper. So that makes it way easier and way more feasible to iterate more often on game boards without having to run out to the print shop each time. So please use your search engine and look for image splitting programs, but I highly recommend them for game board iterations. Number 4, keep your game board and card designs minimal and hopefully black and white or black and white friendly. Whenever you make your designs, you don't want to go heavy with the imagery. 1, it's going to help with reading what's on the board or on the card, but 2, it's going to be way easier on your pocket or on someone else's. It costs way less to print 100 black and white cards than it does to print 100 color cards. Way less. It also is going to be much more appealing to a print and play playtester to print a game that is black and white friendly rather than a game that is going to drain all of their ink cartridges. Ink is very expensive, so you want to keep that in mind whenever you are making your game, that it is not ink heavy and that it can be printed in black and white and still be very readable, even if it's not literally black and white. Okay, number 5, stickers are your friend. Maybe you haven't used stickers since kindergarten, where you had your little chore chart, or your teacher said you're a superstar, so you get a star today. No, the time is still here for stickers, because instead of painstakingly drawing hearts, stars, and horseshoes on your cards every single time that you have to iterate, you can just get a sheet of stickers and take the heart, star, and horseshoe and just plop them on the card and be done with it. And they will look perfect, and they will be the color that you want or need. And you can also use them for dice. If you have blank dice and you don't want to draw the different icons, easy, use stickers. It's perfect. They're easy to peel off and they stay on just fine. And they don't smear. So stickers are great. Number 6, corner cutters. Corner cutters are my favorite thing. Totally unnecessary, but totally something that just pluses up your prototype. It is just like a little stapler sized thing that you just put your card corner in, you go clack, and then the corner is rounded. And you just do that for all your card corners. And maybe some of you are saying, that sounds ridiculous. I would never use my time to do that. But maybe some of you are just like, oh my God, I had that power? Yes, you have that power. And it's only $10. $10 on Amazon. And I got a little corner cutter, and it just made my life the bee's knees. So if you haven't heard of them, then please look into corner cutters, because it is a very easy and cheap way to make your prototype look more polished without putting buku bucks into it. Number 7, card sleeves. Card sleeves are simply wonderful for making your cards easy to shuffle. And it also is helpful whenever you are prototyping, because it allows you to use the front and the back side of a blank card without getting things confused, since the card sleeve would hide the back side. Number 8, creating a reference card or a reference sheet. Don't forget, no matter how simple you think your game is, somebody is sitting down to learn it for the first time. So any sort of reference is super helpful. And even for you, you may get confused between different iterations when you make small rule changes or icon changes. And that reference sheet is for you as well. So please don't doubt it, and don't put it off for later. The sooner you make a reference card, the better. Number 9, designer diary. Designer diary is super helpful when it comes to keeping track of your game and the different iterations that it goes through. I particularly recommend a digital designer diary. I kept one for Book of Villainy on BGG, and so I recommend that, but you can also have a website or a personal blog. What I would do is upload the digital files of the game board and the cards that I would make, just to kind of keep track of the way the designs changed. But I would also take pictures of my prototypes, pictures of people playing my prototypes, and put it up so that I could see how it changed cohesively. And I also used it as a way to document big changes that I made in the game and why I made those changes. Because once you get, 11, 12, 13 iterations down the road, you could have something in your game that you introduced in iteration number 3 and forgotten why you introduced it. Maybe you introduced it in that 3rd iteration to solve a problem, but by iteration 13, that problem is no longer there. And so that piece that's in there, it doesn't make sense for it to still be there. So it's very important to create these designer diaries so that you know why you made your decisions and, you know, what you wanted that decision to do to make sure that your game stayed on track and is actually doing what you intended. And finally, number 10, make your prototype with the intention to destroy it. It was impressed upon me not to make a pretty prototype, and me being artsy fartsy, I was like, I'm going to draw my stuff, and that's fine because it's easier for me to draw and I'm okay with throwing away the things that I draw. But don't make the mistake of spending money on art or spending time on a design when you are not willing to scrap it. Because very often I would put all this time into making my prototypes, and then it would get played once and I would have to throw it in the trash, like all of it. All of it. And I was willing to do that, but it's not easy to just trash everything. It felt terrible. And you're going to try and salvage things, and you're going to try and rationalize it, and you may get defensive whenever you get playtesters. So whenever you are making your prototype and deciding how to make it, just have a voice in the back of your head saying, I need to be prepared that this will only be played once before it's scrapped. It may not even be played at all. I've had a prototype that I spent an entire day making, and then I posted on my Desire Diary. Somebody commented on BGD, and I was like, good point. You have broken the game without me needing to print it. And then I just, I was sad for like 24 hours, and then I had to iterate again. But that one never got played, and that's okay. So be prepared that whatever you're making, it can be destroyed. Otherwise, you're going to hinder your game design process, your game development, and you may end up putting off playtesters if they feel like you're being defensive about your prototype in order to protect those things rather than listening after they spent time to play your game. So I hope that any or all of this was helpful to you. Shout out if this helps in your game design journey, but I will see you on the next installment. Have a good one.
Welcome back. June, as you know, is Pride Month for those LGBTQIA families among us.
That's right, Maggie.
I'm throwing it over to Chris for the weather or not.
In this special weather report, we're here to tell you that this week we're going to be talking about games from LGBTQ designers. We're going to be talking about how you can support those designers and other not straight players at your table, and just how to have a really great time this Pride Month while playing board games.
If you're nerds like us, you want to celebrate Pride by throwing a really fun board game night. But before you throw a board game night, what do you need? Board games. And where are you gonna buy those games? This Pride Month and all months, we encourage you first and foremost to shop local if you can. Hopefully investing in your local communities also means investing in the LGBTQ community. Also a great idea is buying directly from the publisher. All of the publishers that support this channel, that support our Pride charity streams in the past, are great places to start of people that are doing great work in our industry, and it's definitely great people to put your money behind. So whenever you're buying your board games, think about where you're buying them from.
Now that you have your games, you gotta make sure that your table is a great place to be. This is easy.
Tablecloths.
White tablecloth, place settings, beautiful.
Candelabras.
Once you have the aesthetic, you also have to have the right mindset, which is easy. Just be a nice person. Respect the identities of the people at the table. You know, check in on each other if someone's looking or feeling uncomfortable. Just make this the real escape that board games can be. It's hard for someone to have that escape when someone else at the table has just really bad ideas about what it means to be a good person. So make sure you're not that bad person. And if you see that behavior, call them out, shut it down, disinvite them. They're not allowed.
And you can do like fun things to make your games even gayer. We have a series on our TikTok where we talk about our headcanon that makes gays Gays Games that makes games gay, but it's like, in 𝗕𝗿𝗱𝗏, you have to have the husband and the wife. Don't follow that rule if you don't want to. 2 wives stacked on top.
You're playing the game of life?
2 husbands.
Pick any of the pegs.
Pick any peg. Paint a peg a new color.
Oh, I like the way you're thinking. It's that kind of flexibility of mind that we ask you to bring to the board game table.
It's like Frodo and Sam are on one piece in War of the Ring, but only you knows why.
And last but certainly not least, highlight games at your table made by LGBTQ designers, like these.
Whoa!
That's so many games!
That's so many, and this is not an exhaustive list.
Not even.
Not even. Screenshot this if you want to
remember all of them. Okay, we're gonna put them away.
We'll pose.
Great, now we're going to talk about a couple.
This is 𝗕صِH Horror, designed by 𝗕cie XX. 𝗕cie XX is an amazing game designer. They also designed Mansions of Madness, which we talked about last month, and a bunch of other things. 𝗕صِH Horror is the perfect game by a queer designer to bring to a game night if you're playing with people who play games. It's not the best entry game. It's long, it's hard, you will die.
You'll probably not win.
You'll die of like 1,000 miseries because you saw colors you don't understand.
It's a real party game if, you want to save the world with all your friends.
8 players. That's huge.
Crazy.
And if you've got people at your table who are gonna think 𝗕صِH Horror not really their jam, I encourage you to play Fire in the Hole.
Yarr!
This is a great dexterity party game by Nick Miller, which is a queer-led designer and publisher.
You get to wear eye patches.
Eye patches.
You have to throw like 6 balls at once.
It's all recyclable. There's a little boat. You throw balls. It's fun. It's colorful. All ages can play it. This is a game that we had such a blast with.
Play with kids. Or send the kids to bed, pour tequila shots, and play with their moms.
Last but certainly not least, we have the Excellence. It's a tiny little RPG published by Ninth Level Games.
Ninth Level!
Designed in part with a non-binary designer. Mm-hmm. It's a very great game. You get to play princesses of all stripes and colors as you save the world in a very cartoonish world. It's a great entry point for quick RPGs to play. Anyone at the table can, fully embody their own identity or explore others at the table in a very safe, collaborative way. That's also very lighthearted and fun.
If you play tabletop RPGs, we really encourage you to branch out into other smaller RPGs that let you get wild and wacky and experiment with all kinds of different identities. Ninth Level has this one. They have Business Wizards, which is also by a queer designer. And they have a non-binary storytelling game called Women Are Werewolves.
Oh.
So if you have a fun, safe, chill play zone like we talked about earlier, now's the time to have some fun.
Have fun with us this Saturday. It's the 2nd annual Board Game Pride Parade. We're talking about 12 hours on Twitch, all queer streamers, playing games, hanging out, and raising money for incredible LGBTQ organizations. Last year we raised like $3,500.
Yeah.
This year we want it to be even bigger. There's over 50 board games we're gonna give away. We're gonna play Thirsty Sword Lesbians.
Yes.
And our very own Our Family Plays Games is sponsoring this stream. They may or may not have a sweet tea in it. Let me be clear, a sweet t-shirt in it for you if you come join. So please visit us.
Wow, we hope to see you there because we're
playing
games.
With a Y! Woo!
All right.
Yes.
Another episode
down, and
it was the bomb.
Yes, our contributors do their thing.
They do their thing.
They do their
what
thing.
I love about them is that they just bring a different perspective.
Yes.
A different perspective than we bring to the table.
Yes.
And just putting all that together just makes the show fun.
And that's why I'm so glad that we're showing different voices from different people, from different, attitudes, ways, everything. And I just love that. We love all of
voices.
them.
And just letting the industry know and the world know that It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. We all love board games.
And we all gotta have a seat at the table, behind the table, everywhere in this hobby. That's where we need to be.
So thank you, wonderful contributors.
Yes.
And our awesome sponsors.
Love our sponsors. Yes. Love them.
Thanks for riding with us and helping us elevate voices in the hobby.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Now, Starla, what about our merch?
Well, if you're looking for our OFPG Voices, I was going to say Our Family Plays Games, but OFPG Voices merch and Our Family Plays Games merch.
Yes.
Find us on Spring.
Yes.
Shirts.
Yes.
Mugs.
Yes.
Pillows.
Yes.
Posters.
Come on.
Check us out.
Do it. And Starla, you know we are on the march for 20,000 subscribers.
We are.
We want everybody named Mama and Uncle and Daddy and everybody come along with us.
Tell a friend.
Yes. So Starla, where can they find us so we can do that?
Well, if you're looking for Our Family Plays Games and OFPG Voices, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on YouTube.
Right here. Yes. Now, family, thank you so much for coming by and checking us out and checking out these beautiful voices that we have on this episode. And we're just so glad you are here. Keep coming with the questions and the comments and everything. We just like hearing that and talking to you because you're family, y'all. Y'all family. But there's one thing we want you to know, and that's one thing that you'll never forget because we're going to keep telling you, and that we love you. Bye now.
Everybody.